tell you, I can hear the music, and so I thought you could still hear it too, but I realized that I had turned the music down. What a great Monday it's already starting out to be. We are now on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live as well. Now I need to get on the television screen. There I go, there I go, there I am. Again, good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation this Monday morning. The last day of June 30th to be exact. Wow, it is, It is yet moving ever so quickly. It's just, we're going into the halfway. No, we are the halfway mark. We're crossing over the halfway mark now of the year. And again, time waits for no one at all. Let's see here. What do I need to do? I need to do this, that, and the third. Let me see. I'm just going to post it here. Where is it at? I don't have it. Well, isn't that something? Where did I put that video? Not video. That's interesting, to say the least. Post this, and then I'm gonna post the other thing. Okay, we're on Facebook Live. You can share the Facebook Live video by going to the WNCR TV Facebook page and clicking on share. We are live this morning. Let me do that real quick and say good morning. That's shared. You too can do the same thing, so it pops up on your timeline for your followers and friends to see the link this morning. So I'm going to kick off this morning with the thing I just posted on my Facebook page. Let's see here. Can we get it full screen here or no? Here or no? Let's get back. Let's get on. Right there. Right there. Okay. Now, can I zoom in? Yep. Perfect. Okay. So we got that going on right there as well. And again, the last day of June the 30th, 2025, a day we've never seen before. Of course, we're on the television. We're on radio on 102.5 FM. Tomorrow kicks off July the 1st. And I tell you, time again waits for no one at all. So this year, it's not, I did all of that and the thing ain't even, that ain't working. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay. Actually, just the video portion ain't working. Because clearly that is, the audio is coming. No, that's a different way, I think I'm seeing the audio. Let's go here. Live television changes, I'll say. In that task, to remove it, scroll down just to make sure there's not another one, and it's not. Okay. And so then we use this. One day, here we go. All right, so let's see if this is going to, it did. And there we go, it did. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. All right. So this here is a picture, obviously, because it's on the air, that I took on this morning. It's a little blurry because I guess it was taken in the midst of me moving, but nevertheless, this is a vehicle, right? That's parked there in the road, or on the side of the road, should I say. This is a sign. It says no parking anytime. And then it also says 4-hour parking with the arrow facing the direction. I hope everyone sees that, or will see that at the time you get on, whatever time that might be. So the question is that vehicle improperly parked? If the sign, because again, I went to driver's ed a long time ago, so maybe I don't know. But that says no parking anytime. Then right beside it says 4-hour parking. This is next to Pop's Diner and First Baptist Church's Western Avenue, I guess is what it's called. And so this is where I parked my vehicle last night, this morning, whatever. It was about midnight. And so I'm just trying to figure out, is it that I can't read or my comprehension is horrible? Or does this sign not say 4-hour parking with the arrow pointed upward, which would mean that you can park here for no longer than 4 hours? Because allegedly, the Rockland Police Department got a phone call. There was a car parked in the middle of the street. And I don't even know why someone would park in the middle of the street. And certainly I didn't. And I didn't get a ticket or anything, but it's just the thought process of it, right? That, one, I don't like to be told I'm doing anything illegal against the law, because I try to look at the law, examine the law, find the gray area of the law in some cases, and or where the law was silent on things, and deal with it accordingly. But this is very clear. No parking anytime. Bam. 4-hour parking that way. So I thought I would share that with folk. And either one or two things that happen. The city could change it to a whole entire no parking street completely and remove the 4-hour no parking. And it could have already done that, and then they just failed to take the sign down. But while the sign is present, in my opinion, that left-hand side of the street is parking. Unless somebody sees something differently and say, nope, Bronson, you're completely wrong on that matter, then I'll accept that with your rationale as to how I may be wrong with that. But anyway, so I'll chew on that. I'll chew on it. We'll all chew on it. And I'm going to call the police department about it today, too. Well, other thing happened. North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis is saying, hey, he is out of the U.S. Senate. He's not seeking re-election. So come the end of 2026, he is gone. He will be there for the remainder of this year and all of next year, unless he leaves early. He's gone. I thought that was very interesting, and interesting for a number of reasons, but primarily the reason is that I think it's real hard being a Republican. Okay? I think it is really hard being a Republican in this climate because in order to do the right thing, oftentimes you have to go against your party. In order to do what is right for your state, you have to go against your party. And when you go against the party, then you become blacklisted, or you're not a true Republican, or you're anti-MAGA, or whatever it is that they say. And basically, you'll be saying, hey, I'm going to primary you and get you out of there. And some Trump nominees have lost, and the incumbent stayed in. But otherwise, they most of the time have lost elections. But North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis has said, you know what, I'm voting against this big, beautiful bill. It is going to do damage to my state. And me being elected from the state, my goal is to look after the best interests of my state and advocate on a national level. When this individual, Senator Tom Tillis, makes such a statement, and this is not his first time making such a statement and voting against the Republicans, he oftentimes is ridiculed for making such a move. We're on the trajectory of tearing up North Carolina, or tearing up the United States of America, and I need all hands on deck with all 53 senators. Where they do that at? And so I commend Tom Tillis for This is, again, I would say this is not his first time that he's went against the Republicans in his voting choice. Oftentimes they will twist arms and put a whole lot of political pressure on him to do things I think over the last couple of years he just felt uncomfortable doing. But did it for the sake of party. And I guess that gets old after a while, that you say, hey, this is going against my core values as an individual. This is going against my state. Because what he does for North Carolina and votes he makes in the national level has an impact on his personal family. So I think sometimes people will get elected to particular offices and forget that when you do harm, the harm is not just, you may be protected in your personal capacity, but you've got family, friends, and cousins and all this other kind of stuff that will feel the detriment of those decisions in which you make. And of course, now on the Democratic side, there's a growing call for former Governor Roy Cooper to throw his name in the hat for North Carolina Senate seat, which now will be a vacated seat. As it stands today, Senator Tom Tillis has said he is not seeking re-election after serving, I believe, 2 terms in the United States Congress. It will be a total of 12 years. Let me confirm that he's not 3-term senator. I don't think he is. I think he's 2-term. But let me just confirm that. When was he elected? Yeah, 2015. Yeah. 2015. I think I just saw that somewhere. Yeah. Because I served in House Representative for 2007 2015, as a state speaker of the House in 2011 2015. He was elected to the United States Senate. In 2014, of course, he was elected in 2014. And, of course, he was sworn in 2015 on that January the 2nd or whatever date that is, that you have to take your oath of office. I want to say good morning, though, to Gwendolyn Swain, Barbara Smith, Candy Staten, Allison Williams, Deborah Gunter, Gloria Brake, and Andre Smalley. And actually, when I got my car washed on Saturday with the church there on Church of Nazareth, Nazarene, I think, there on Hunter Hill Road. And so the kids came out. I think I saw Andre Smalley with a something washing, helping out with a thing as well. Yeah, I did, because I said if he didn't help, I would say, what, you was the supervisor? And so that was a great experience. So they got out there and quickly washed the vehicle, and it was shining. And so that's about, probably until they have another, or somebody else have a car washed, maybe next time a car get washed. That's that. Good morning also to Irma Maxwell. Thank you for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as well. So I hope that their fundraiser for sending those individuals to camp was or continues to be successful there for things that they've got going on with that organization. And then we saw Friday as well as on Saturday the memorial funeral services for Jay Lyons, who was a firefighter who lost his life. That services was Saturday. And of course, we saw the processional from, I think, Raleigh or somewhere for him coming into the Tarboro area, and people giving respects and honor to him serving as a firefighter in the Edgecombe County area. So he certainly will be remembered. Young individual too. That's something I talked to him, was during the fire of QVC. He was out there with that fire during that particular time, but certainly keep his family and friends and colleagues in prayer during a time such as this. And the North Carolina General Assembly, of course, they went on break. They went on break without producing a budget. They went on break without producing a budget by July 1st. And of course, again, they rave about North Carolina municipalities to produce a budget and have it passed, and a balanced budget and all this good stuff. And yet they, being the General Assembly, don't have that timeline to deal with or be concerned with that. Say, hey, we'll do it when we do it, how we do it, and don't care who we do it to. So there you go with that. So hopefully between now and whenever they do it is when we will have a budget. But of course, I've seen the state pass a budget way in October or November, it just seems like, and trying to get through whatever it is they are trying to get through at that particular time. And so they will negotiate some more, and then finally develop a budget. And I don't really know, and I had to go back and look at it, how often did that happen under a democratically controlled General Assembly? It probably did, and so I'm sure there's historical data that I can go look at. But here recently, North Carolina has been under a Republican-controlled legislative body, and they have seemed to me consistently not passed a budget by the expected time. And again, that could just be a thing that's just North Carolina General Assembly thought process. And so I'm going to go back and look at who produced the budget better between the two main parties, major parties, that's Republican Democrats, who have served North Carolina. And speaking of that, monies and things of that nature, there's little to no conversation about the Leandro case, in which they talked about improperly funding public education for students east of I-95. And of course, the General Assembly's contention is that the courts cannot tell them how to spend their money, that the power of a purse is vested in the General Assembly, and the courts cannot do that. And I'm not sure if did the Supreme Court rule on Leandro case? Let me see, Leandro case, NC Supreme Court. I'm not sure if, well, I know one court, but the Supreme Court was the court that ruled that they had to pay it in the first place. Leandro case is a North Carolina long-standing legal battle concerning the state's obligation to provide sound-based education, basic education to all public students. The North Carolina Supreme Court has been involved in multiple rulings on this case, which originated from a lawsuit filed by 5 low-wealth school districts. The core issue revolves around whether the state has adequately funded its public schools to ensure students have access to quality education guaranteed by the state's constitution. And certainly, I think with their reporting scores and things that the General Assembly has created, I think that is a testament to the lack thereof of adequate funding to the public school system, and especially in the low wealth districts. And so one of the reasons why there is shared tax collection is to be able to meet the needs of those lower wealth communities, to drive them from their current condition to being where they could possibly be in the upcoming years, or what have you, when it comes to access to health, healthcare, access to wealth, and things of that nature. But the argument is, and this is how they oftentimes make the argument, and say, well, we give the same per pupil allocation across the state, and the truth of the matter is it's going to cost more in some areas to educate children more than others. And so the per pupil allocation really needs to be determined by the area in which the district is in. And, we'll say across the board numbers, that creates equity, that creates equality, that creates this. And actually it could be more disruptive than ever, that model. So I don't think the 2022 ruling. In 2022, the Supreme Court affirmed the state's obligation to provide sound basic education and ordered the state to develop a comprehensive plan to address the funding and resources of disparity. In early 2024, the Supreme Court agreed to rehear the case, a rare move that has sparked further debate and calls for action. And so that's interesting as well. So I don't know where we are with that. And again, rehearing the Leandro's case. And so I don't know, that was as of February 2020, the case is being reheard by Supreme Court with a different political majority than the November 23rd court. And I'm not sure if they produced a ruling on that as of yet. But I will say this, that when those folk who are running for North Carolina General Assembly, if everybody in these 100 counties ask their representative, why haven't you done anything as regards to Leandro when you're talking about public education that, and then it's looking squarely in their face and say, this go around, I got to send you home. Whether you're Republican, whether you're Democrat, or whatever you are, I got to send you home. And I'm going to send you home with my vote, my actions, this, that, and the third, in hopes that the next elected official, because you don't have to have a court to tell the General Assembly what to do when it comes to doing right by people. The General Assembly as a body should have the citizenry of North Carolina at its forefront thought in every actions and every deliberation that it has. And so if they say, well, we'll wait and see what the courts say, then you tell them that's a bunch of bogus mess as well. Because if you wanted to and had a desire to and truly cared for citizens in North Carolina, and particularly those 5 counties and those counties east of I-95, that you would, in this budget, make adequate, or give, should I say, adequate educational relief to those communities who need it the most and who have been neglected over the years, which is compounded to the educational outcomes that we're currently afforded at this particular moment. And not to say that children are not doing well, but they could be doing better if the state have done what it was supposed to do years ago, and certainly even working on it now to resolve some of the issues that we have in Eastern North Carolina. So when you talk about Eastern North Carolina and opportunities for economic development, i.e. jobs, oftentimes you see that going to other areas of the state. And one of the contributing factors will be access to education, educational outcomes. These are the things that is imperative to industry and et cetera coming into communities, because they're going somewhere. And so you have to ask yourself, why are they not coming here? And in fact, where is, and I go back down here to Rocky Mount, and it may be, I guess it's maybe at 301, but I was about to say, where is our like industrial park area for Rocky Mount? You know, you go to other cities and towns and you see they made a major focus on basically consolidating industry to so many acres of land or area. And so that's basically where everybody's working at. And so, of course, I guess when you look at at one time, I guess the right side of 301, you had that. But again, is that something that we ought to be looking at as well when it comes to industry in the community? Now, you have it scattered. You got some in Gold Rock. You got some in Rocky Mount. And so you do have it scattered. But what we do see is, I think about RTP, Research Triangle Park, and that industrial area is what it is. It's one row of big old buildings out there, another from all the major brands you can possibly think of. You look over in Wilson, they have that industrial corporate park area as well, which has a number of organizations that produce things there, which actually is contributors to the tax base, which helps when we talk about Wilson growing. Again, the only thing I can say about Wilson, and I showed it to previous viewers before, is they are very targeted in updating and maintaining their comprehensive plan. They check it off every year, say this is what we set out to do and this is what we accomplished. And it is a testament to their development in that community. And of course, their proximity to Raleigh also plays another factor into it. But I will not underscore that by their deliberate work to be intentional about what direction the citizens of Wilson wanted to go, and they worked towards those things, and they accomplished those things. That's, what I will say. And I think it is evident by the development that we see. I want to say good morning also to Commissioner Viola Harris, who came over to Pop's Diner the other day with a couple of folk. Good morning also to Jacqueline Leonard Randolph, Deborah Manning, Alfreda Perkins, Vernice Harris. Good morning to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. But yeah, that's something that we also could think about. Again, and we talked about it before. In fact, let me see. Let me see here. Okay. Is this their update or is this their thing? Let's see. This is their update. Yeah, this is their update. So this is Wilson. And so this is their 2043 comprehensive plan updates. In April 2024, the City Council adopted the Grow Together 2024 comprehensive plan to update and replace its previous 2030 plan. So obviously they're looking at 13 years up the road. This process occurred over a 2-year period, which included several public meetings and much input from a cross-section of Wilson community. The process was guided by the City of Wilson and supported by the local consultants at Clarion Associates and VHB. The 2043 plan revised sections that reflected changes that's happened since the previous plan adoption and support renewed vision for the future of the community. The 2043 plan provides guidance for many aspects of Wilson's future, including addressing equity and community reinvestment, promoting workforce advancement, modernizing transportation infrastructure, improving sustainability and resilience, and providing fiscally sustainable public services and facilities. The comprehensive plan is a roadmap that provides guidance as to where and how a community will grow and change over a period of time. The City of Wilson uses this policy document to set priorities and make important land use and investment decisions. The 2043 comprehensive plan is available in access of web-based format. So, this is what they do, and have been doing it for quite some time. And it says, what's a comprehensive plan? A comprehensive plan, or comp plan, is a document created by local governments with the help of residents to create a long-term vision and goals for the community. A comprehensive plan incorporates a wide range of topics that impacts the community, including land use, infrastructure, housing, economic development, quality of life, and etc. Does Wilson have a comprehensive plan? Yes. The City of Wilson adopted its first comprehensive plan, Wilson Growing Together, the 2030 comprehensive plan in 2010, which includes 51 goals, more than 100 policies, and 90 implementation actions that to be achieved. The City of Wilson achieved the Outstanding Planning Award for Comprehensive Planning in 2010 and the North Carolina chapter for American Planning Association. So it looks like to me it wasn't until 2010 that they said, we gotta get real serious about the next 20 years, and then they did it. Now again, remember, Rocky Mountain's comprehensive plan was last updated in 2003, and so they did it. And so 2010 is okay. Here it is. Now here it is in 2024. They went and re-updated that plan about 14 years. Later, and probably would have done before then, but I guess with COVID situation was probably good. Again, in this plan here, it's going to talk about a number of things there. And so this was the thing I was telling you about, that they gave these updates, and so that way you don't think I'm lying about it. Let's zoom in here so we can make it bigger on TV. So here, what they did was they did the 2030 plan in 2010. And so in that plan, or somewhere through guidance or whatever they did, they said, listen, looks like to me every 2 years we're coming back and we're doing a progress report on the plan, because we don't want our plan to sit some shelf and say, hey, here's something we did. No, this is something we're actually working through. This is something that we're actually working through, and we're going to have a progress report on the plan. So you see in 2012, so again, it was adopted 2010. So 2012 did a progress report, 2014, 16, then 19, and then 2022. And then actually in 2024, they said, okay, that was time to kind of redo it. And that's amazing, because by 2024, they said, listen, we must have done so much to this plan that this plan is becoming outdated that we need to go back and revise a couple of things. And so the same thing I say to the city of Rocky Mount, and I've been saying for years, actually, is that when they update their comprehensive plan, they too have a checkoff list. Here's what we set out to do. Here's what we're done. Here's what we're still working on. Wilson gets it. Now, when I talk about comprehensive plans, I'll get pushback and, oh, we've got this, oh, we're doing this, but it's evident by what a large majority of citizens in our community say and think about the city, is that the information and messaging is not well enough for people to see that there is actual growth going on in our community. Now, can I go through various projects and kind of look at where we were a couple of years ago to compare to where we are now and say we got growth? Absolutely. You hear me say it all the time. But by and large, the collective will suggest that there is stagnation in our community. And oftentimes that is because the number of citizens who would desire to give input as to where they want to see their city go oftentimes don't have that input, don't share that input, or their input is not asked of them in a way that the message has got them even I want your input in the first place. And so they're not able to champion that story. And so as I believe that throughout this city, every citizen should be the greatest ambassador for the city of Rocky Mount. But in order to be an ambassador, you got to know where you're going. You got to know where you've been, and you got to participate in the process. And so, and then once you get the information, you get it through neighborhood associations, get it through community meetings or whatever, that then that information still disseminate and say, hey, look, Rocky Mount wants to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We want to do this. And so that is why and I get it. It was anything that Keith did was wrong. And so I get the philosophy that some members on council had. And so therefore, the fact that Keith Rogers, former city manager, understood the idea, if Rocky Mount's to get to where it's going, you've got to update your outdated comprehensive plan. And so he did that. And he did it with asking the citizens first without asking the city council members. And so city council members got upset about that. They canceled the plan. And I don't know where the status of their plan is now. I think they're still working on it in some fashion. But for me, when you have an organization chart with your city, your government organization, and it says at the top of that list, citizens first, then that is who you start with. You do start with the citizens. You start with hearing information about the citizens. Then as a council, you come together and say, okay, here's the input from the citizens. Now, how do we make that work? Or maybe we're not quite there yet, and then give that conversation piece. But I do believe that the stakeholders that he talked to first, and whoever they were, members of the community, that was, in fact, the right approach. Now, whether that's the direction elected city council want to go, that's another story. But at least you got to hear from the community members so you know exactly what their thoughts, minds, and interest is, because ultimately it is the taxpayers who are footing the bills to be sure that the city is growing, that the city is in operations. So, that's that. But again, I go back to Wilson, North Carolina, right up the road. And this is what they're doing. Again, this is not something I made up. This is what it is. And then the fact that they got an award for it. But again, an 18-month process. 18-month process. That's good stuff. And one day we may take a time to go through it and see what Wilson is doing or wanting to do. And it gives you a roadmap for how they got their success and how they will continue to hopefully continue to grow. Because as Wilson grows, it's good for the state of North Carolina, and ultimately it's good for the surrounding counties as well. And so at the end of the day, as someone say, we're all in this together. Once again, good morning also to Reginald Manning. Thank you for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Another thing that's happening today, it is June the 30th, and so that means it is the final meeting associated with the redistricting for Edgecombe County. So just a reminder here, the Edgecombe County Public Schools redistricting public hearing will be tonight. It will be June the 30th. As the last of the 4 public hearings. It's going to be at 6 p.m. at Southwest Edgecombe High School, located at 5912 North, not 59 North, but 5912 NC 43. That's in Pine Tops, to get the community input on the 2 map options for the new district for Edgecombe County's school board. Of course, it is a very important meeting that people will attend to voice their concerns and support and advocacy for one map over the other, based on what I've seen through social media, what I've seen through various meetings, as well as the most recent meeting at D.S. Johnson Elementary School and some of the school board meetings that they've had. It is most of the community stakeholders are supportive of the school board choosing option C over D2. And one individual at the D.S. Johnson meeting talked about how D2 closely is in line with the county commissioners districts, with the caveat of carving out the homes of elected officials so they won't be double bunked and have to run against each other. And so while the community is saying, hey, let's vote on a plan that will keep communities and neighborhoods together as much as possible. Hey, caller, good morning.
Morning, how you doing?
Doing well, hope you are.
Look at that mayor y'all got over there, Sandy Robinson. Mm-hmm. Is he gonna run for Congress?
He has made his intention to run for Congress again. That is correct.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
You did say he gonna run for Congress.
He is running. He's committed to $2 million, I think, of his own money to support his campaign.
That's that Don Davis seat.
That's Don Davis, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, look, I was looking at see, I got that. My sister asked me. I don't live in Rocky Mountain. I live in Topper. But look, I see where Tom Tillis said he ain't gonna run another year.
That's correct.
Yeah, ain't gonna go along with that big beautiful bill. Mm-hmm. And 30 minutes after he said it, Donald Trump took and put up there he was gonna find somebody to run against him. Most people say that's why he decided to do it. But I admire the man. I would, he ain't my cup of tea, but the man doing what he's supposed to do with that big, beautiful bill, because personally, I don't think gonna pass no way, because one thing about older people, they do vote. Mm-hmm. They do vote. The older people gonna vote. This younger crowd, they ain't been through what we've been through, so that's what got this country in the way it is. It ain't the politicians, it's these people that don't vote. So I give my hat to Tillis. He's done the right thing. But these people who have been in Congress, and not only that's Congress, just been in politics and all, making a living off the people all their lives. It's a good business to be in, and we don't see it because we don't know. If you don't know nothing, you can't say nothing. But that's all. I just wanted to check on who was running through that district.
That's right.
I want about the Robinson guy. I know that guy had a bunch of signs over here in Tower when that last mayor race was going on. He had them all over the place. I don't know nothing about him. But because I vote for a Republican now, don't get me wrong. But if he can't handle the city of Rocky Mountain, I don't think he can handle Congress neither. But that's all I want to say. I just want to find out about whether this guy was running or not. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you for tuning in and watching. 252-407-8432. That's 252-407-8432. 5 more minutes before we get up out of here today. On WNCR-TV Now, we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. I want to say good morning also to Alice Bailey, as well as Mary Helen. Thank you for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now, as we, again, continue to talk about those things that's happening in our state. Yeah, we kicked off the top of the show talking about Tom Tillis not seeking re-election. And we, what did we also do? We talked about a number of things. We talked about Leandro as well. We didn't talk about the first congressional district race, which last call is called. And Mayor Sandy Robinson has put his name in the hat that he's going to run in the Republican primary, which will be causing him to file in December and be in the primary for March. And I'm sure that Congressman Don Davis will be seeking re-election to that seat as well, with the same filing and a possible Democratic primary in March as well, or he may run unopposed. But that is what's going on that we know of in the electoral process for the first congressional district. Again, don't know of any other candidates who say that they are running. And as it stands right now, don't know who's running for North Carolina, well, U.S. Senate, should I say, for one of the North Carolina Senate seats. So that will leave Ted Budd, which then he will become the senior senator of North Carolina, which Tom Tillis became the senior senator of North Carolina when Richard Burr, when he retired from the U.S. Senate. And again, I think in both cases, they were a little bit drenched, for lack of a better word, with the way politics is today, and decided that they're better off at home than to deal with what goes on in Washington, D.C. as it relates to that process. And so that's where we are. That's where we are this morning. And so that's what people are talking about. You type in Tom Tillis' name, you'll see his retirement stories from all major news outlets and local outlets here as well, who is talking about him saying it's time to go home. I guess I don't know what he's gonna do after the U.S. Senate. So that is to be told, and still unfolding. Then let me get this situated for the 9 o'clock hour. There's nothing else that I can think of. I'm pretty sure Edgecombe County. Yeah, we saw the meeting. I read the note where Edgecombe County was voting on their budget, so I would assume that they had their meeting and they voted on their budget here recently. When was that meeting? I know Chairman Wiggins had called for that meeting to vote. Did not. And so, of course, thank you for that. And, of course, we saw the news outlets as well that the Rocky Mount Chief of Police has put in his retirement papers effective July the 31st. And so he will be retiring as a chief of police for the city of Rocky Mount. That is going to mean that North Rocky Mount will be looking for another chief of police. City manager Eldon Daniels has talked about, putting somebody in as the interim police chief during that process. And so he'll be working towards that, I guess, in the upcoming days. He is working with all hands on deck. All I can tell you that from budget process to filling vacancies in the city, and now a new created vacancy. Well, actually, 2 new created vacancies, because Chris Betchler, who is over the utilities there for engineering part of utilities, he is also retiring. And so he's got to fill that position as well. As Chris Betchler departs from Rocky Mount, as well as now our chief of police making his nearly 30-year exit from the city of Rocky Mount in local government. So congratulations to him as well. There was something that I was going to look for. Yeah, so it was June the 23rd. So June the 23rd is when they had a special meeting to approve the budget, and I would certainly assume that it was approved during that time. I think they proposed no tax increase to their budget process as well, and don't know anything else about it, so I had to get some information on that. But until tomorrow, we'll see you again on WNCR-TV Now and WAJA, where we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Again, don't forget, from 11 to 6, Monday through Sunday through Friday. We're open at Pop's Diner, 132 South Church Street, downtown Rocky Mount. Make it a great and fantastic Monday, and be sure to tell somebody something that they may not know today about what's happening in our community, our state, or our nation. Take care.